Hello, it's Sunday, the 10th of October, and I have some stuff to share, okay? So let's just jump right in. Happy to say that I'm just here. I don't ask you to subscribe, none of that shit. I'm just at home and I decide I want to talk to you, and I do, about my favorite subject, which is music. And I love the fact that folks are still sending me stuff. I just got a cassette from Brian Day. He runs Public Eyesore / Records. And this, Brian, I hope you see this. This is my favorite thing that you've released in a long time. Here's the one sheet for Jeff Surak. Jeff Surak, Eris, Dysnomia. It's a cassette release. And this is the best thing I've heard on your label in a long time for my taste. And this is just what I like. Not surprised so much by it, but just really pleased. This is just what I look for. It's the one sheet kind of sets you up. Jeff Surak is a sound artist, recovering curator, programmer, label boss, with a body of work spanning over 4 decades. Eris Dysnomia is composed of contrasting audio articulations. Clues are given to the listener to start their nebulous and contrasting journey, but ultimately they must find their own direction. That's a great setup for this. This is really, really, really good. One of the best things I've heard this year of everything, and it's on a cassette. It starts off sound-based, then it becomes a melodic drone, then it seamlessly moves into Soundworks and back. It's very intriguing and it's layered beautifully. There's even a point where I can tell that it's just the sound of him maybe manipulating some metal or something like that, and yet you get lost in the sound of it. This is really, really good, and one of the best things I've heard this year. It's on cassette. Jeff Surak, Eris Dysnomia. I highly recommend this. It's on Bandcamp, so I'll leave the link in the below. Nice going, Brian. This is the most enjoyable thing on your label I've heard in a long time, and I do enjoy the your efforts of Public Eyesore, the documentation of Soundworks and people doing things that are very challenging for the listener. I applaud you for continually releasing these works. Next thing I want to share is that my album Future Still finally got an in-print review in the latest electronic sound magazine out of the UK. This is the latest issue I just got in the mail with Faust on the cover. It's a great issue. It also comes with a free clear vinyl Faust single with edits from the early days. But what I'm super happy about is that I get a short but favorable review on my album in here. You know, there's the name, page 76, and then the review. It's short but sweet. It's just really nice to get a review in print of the work, and in such a nice magazine too, with my dude's Faust on the cover. I love that. I love that. The other news is we're at this point in time with music and the world of Western, well, just the world of rock music in general, where we're losing people every day, from the world of music. And there's been several that have passed away, but the one that I want to mention that I don't think anyone else is going to, in the U.S. anyway, is Jim Pembroke of the band Wigwam. Wigwam are out of Finland. But I think that Jim Pembroke, who was the lead singer, was an American. And I'll show, this was a Nuclear Nightclub. It's about the time I first heard about them. I heard about the band Wigwam through reading the New Musical Express. I was into underground, prog, whatever. And so the way that the band was described piqued my interest. So I think I can do this. The first thing I grabbed by them was the album Lucky Golden Stripes. I have it. Come on, Dereck, you have these records. Yeah. It was this album. Lucky Golden Stripes and Star Pose. This is the first thing I heard by them, and this is my copy. I kept it because I really like it. And the American flag and the obscure references to America are appropriate, and it's interesting because when I heard the band, I could tell that they weren't American, but there was this Americanism in the music, but in a kind of an observer from the outside perspective. And by that I mean that this music is progressive. It has all kinds of elements, including country, but more like Western, more like cowboys, more like the sound of I've been watching cowboy movies as opposed to I live on a farm, or I'm a country type of dude. But Jim Pembroke had a very distinct, recognizable voice. Always knew it was him. So I have this album by them, Nuclear Nightclub. I think this came out right before Lucky Golden. And then this is an earlier album. There's from '74, Being. This is probably my favorite. And this is a reissue, but it is on the Love label. It's not a gatefold. But this is ambitious, very progressive. Really, really good. I mean, it's very. It goes all the way from, like I said, kind of a loping, kind of country feel to compositions on the level of Frank Zappa in complexity. And then another really strong flavor in the music and the singing on this album is the influence of Stevie Wonder. And it's beautiful how it works. It's because it's a progressive element and soulful as well. This is a fantastic album. Not that long ago, it was reissued, and I picked it up, Being, with the big fold-out cover, double album, Surak label, great label. I highly recommend this band, and this is one of my favorite progressive bands. You know, we always talk about Genesis and Yes and ELP, and then we get into the German school, Can and Faust and stuff, and then you have the Dutch with the Super Sisters and stuff. But for me, Wigwam are right up there. They are one of the progressive bands in my life. I also thankfully have these early records. This is they tried to market them in America. And this is a promo of their album Tombstone Valentine, and this is a perfect example of what I was talking about. They even look how they describe it. In the tradition of Tommy, Bee Gees, and Abbey Road, which I would agree with. I think they could have been big had they been promoted correctly. This album is really, really good. Tombstone Valentine. Hard and Horny. This is a hard to find album of theirs on the Love label. Found this years ago. Love this band. Another one on the Love label, a compilation of Wigwam on the Love label. If you haven't heard this band, I highly recommend them. And here's one, makes me think of the fella from Pa Musique asking about record covers. This is another cover that I really like, and it's an album I had been looking for forever and never found an original of. Fairyport by Wigwam. But this was on my want list for years, trying to find a copy. Never did find an original. It got reissued finally by Svart, so I was able to grab it. Beautiful color vinyl. And this is not quite as... I love this cover, but Being is a more fully realized Wigwam album. But like I said, this is, I recommend them all. Great cover. Another one I had an original of, and for some reason I sold it. So I picked up this reissue double album of the Dark album. And that's Jim there. And he has he looks like his voice. Good voice. Interesting lyrics too. And then a compilation, Rumors on the Rebound. I do like this band, and I highly recommend them. And it's a loss to the music world in general, even though he's not a household name. But Wigwam were a great band. And I never came across any of Jim's solo albums. He has solo albums. I never was able to find any. And I do have one single on 45 of them, Nuclear Nightclub and Tram Driver. I was able to get that. So rest in peace, Jim Pembroke. I want to make sure that folks know about them. Very good band. Very, very, very good band. Okay, I'm smiling because I'm pleased about getting some coverage in the written music press, finally, for my new album. Today I'm supposed to play an outdoor concert with David Nance Band if the weather holds up. It's cloudy today. Hopefully it doesn't rain. Like I said, real pleased to see a in-print review of my album. Okay, folks, be well.